It is Monday, January 9th, 2023. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And we're here to talk about movies, TV, streaming, entertainment news for you about what's happening out there from people that actually work in the entertainment industry. My name is Brian Kruse. I'm back with you again. I'm an actor, writer, producer, create my own stuff. I work on set for different actors. And I'm joined here today again by my lovely host, Miss Sabrina Vittori. Sabrina, welcome to the program.
Hi.
Writer, producer, and anamorphic Hollywood, California. Rental needs for lenses in town. Best lenses in town. Thanks for being here tonight, Sabrina. And hi, GR. Welcome. Welcome back, GR. Tonight it's just Sabrina and myself talking about the news. We'll have some more guest hosts this week. We're going to have manager Jake Slanecki back on Wednesday, and Mike Casey's going to join us on Thursday, and hopefully Tuesday and Friday we'll have different people too. We'll let you know as we go along for the week. We'll have announcements tomorrow, but welcome. Thank you for being here. Sabrina, how's your day been?
Good. My furnace is broken, so it's freezing in the house.
I see the hat. Very nice.
Not really excited about that. But
and we live in Los Angeles.
Okay.
We live in Los Angeles, everybody. That's good. We live in Los Angeles, and people think it doesn't get cold, but it is cold, and it's raining, and they're saying it's a flood warning right now. And if you look outside the house, there is a lot of rain. We have a pool, and the pool is, it looks like an infinity pool right now, and it shouldn't. It's pretty nuts. But everybody, welcome. We're happy you're here tonight. We're going to get right into it, as we always do. So here is some breaking news. There's this hit show on Netflix called Wednesday, of course, and it's based off the Addams Family, the daughter Wednesday Addams. And they just announced, everyone's saying, it's done so well. People are doing the dance on TikTok and on Instagram. Everyone's saying, oh, this is a great show. Well, it's coming back for season 2. Netflix just announced season 2 of Wednesday is coming. Yes, if you love the show, it's coming back. I still haven't checked it out. I think we put it on for a second and then I wasn't in the mood, I guess, but I hear it's great, so I have to give it another chance. Now it's coming back for season 2, especially. It's one of those things that, you got to check it out, especially when we're talking about it as it goes along. Maybe we'll do a review about it later on as we talk about Wednesday moving forward. Sabrina, you have any thoughts on Wednesday? Have you had a chance to check it out? What do you think of the concept of Wednesday?
Honestly, when I saw it, I thought it was very stupid. Mostly because find something new to do. It was frustrating. And also, I guess I'm of the generation of Addams Family with, Angelica Houston and, what's her name? Christina Ricci played her. I know Christina Ricci's in this playing a different character, which, I guess is good, but, sure. I'm very stuck on the whole, the original Addams Family, the movies, that. It was such a great cast and it was so awesome. And I don't know. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm that kind of girl. It just seems like it's for a younger demographic. I just really have had no desire to check it out. I guess since it's done so well and people are gaga over it. Maybe it's worth a watch, but it just wasn't something that was on my radar at all.
Yeah. And it's Tim Burton, and Tim Burton has that kind of quirkiness, I think, for a show like this. The tone.
Now I feel embarrassed. I had no idea it was Tim Burton.
Yeah, it's Tim Burton, and there's Fred Armisten's in there as Uncle Fester. You have Catherine Zeta-Jones.
You can't beat Christopher Lloyd. I'm sorry.
I know Christopher Lloyd was amazing as Uncle Fester, and and I like Fred Armisen, but he's no Christopher Lloyd, but he is funny. He is a comedic genius, and he always, when you see him, you love him. But I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this show and see where they go. I know she's going to school. It's kind of touching on the early days of her life, and there's this whole cult that's involved with it. So if you like the show, just so you know, it's coming back for a season 2. And when we hear more about it, we'll let you know. And we're going to actually watch it soon and get you know what our idea is of it, because it's definitely something we should check out. And if you haven't seen it, watch it too. Let us know what you think if you have, and we'll go from there. Oh, we got Burby. Welcome to the program. Thank you for being here tonight on Kruse Control. Okay, we're going to move on to our next subject, which is something I've been wanting to talk about, actually, because I'm excited about this. Daredevil, Born Again, we talked about before. Well, Christina Ricci might be back as Jessica Jones. Now, if you watch the original Netflix show, you know that Jessica Jones had her own
Not
spinoff.
Christina Ricci.
Oh, she's in my mind now.
Christina Ricci was Wednesday.
Yeah, that's on my mind now. That's on my mind now. Oh my God. It's Monday, everybody. It's Monday. It's Monday.
Sorry, I had to fix that.
Yes, that's good. But now I'm going blank on her name. Kristen.
I don't know her name.
Kristen. Yeah.
Does anybody know her name?
Sabrina, it's in the comments. But Kristen. Okay. Anyways, well, she's back. That's what they're saying right now. Well, we don't know for sure, but there's been some stuff online where she's been. This is funny. This is how it goes in this entertainment industry. People see things and they just jump to conclusions. So it's not confirmed, but she's been working out. That's what I'm saying. Working out, wearing the Daredevil T-shirt, and here's a little tweet that she was talking about when she was working out.
Kristen Ritter, that's her name. Ding ding.
Yep, Kristen Ritter. I told you it was Kristen.
Kristen
Ritter. That's what people have been saying.
She posted on her Instagram story, working out at the gym using a Daredevil T-shirt. Filming for Daredevil Born Again starts in 1 month. At the Nerd Saga speculated at the time that the Netflix Marvel cast of Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and Iron Fist would all return with their original actors. Let's be real. Luke, Jessica, and Danny are all coming back, and Mike, Kristen, and Finn are playing them.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, we talked about this before, how we're talking about Daredevil is actually the same Daredevil from the Netflix series. So if it's the same Daredevil, all right, Charlie Cox said that. He goes, well, something happened and it's the same one. It's before he was saying a different interpretation, but now he's saying, yeah, same guy. I mean, we know that's the same Wilson Fisk. D'Onofrio said that. Now the idea is, okay, we have 18 episodes. How do we not bring back the original cast? Is Foggy going to be in it? Is Karen going to be in it? Well, Kristen Ritter, probably in it, it sounds like. She's working out. She's wearing the shirt again. This is her wearing a shirt, working out at a gym. So who knows? She's, tweeting that's happening soon. People are talking about it.
She's been posting pictures of her at the gym for like all year. So I don't I mean, who knows?
She was part of a very successful Netflix show where she was playing this character. She was on Daredevil. She had her own spinoff. She was in the Defenders series. So she's very involved in that world already, or she was. So she would have swag from the show. She would have T-shirts. She would have, gloves. She would have hats, sweaters, all that stuff. So, I mean, does this really validate that she's going to be a part of it? Sabrina, you hear this. What do you think? Do you think that she's actually coming back, or do you think this is just a coincidence? She's working out because that's what actors do.
I mean, honestly, I don't know. It could go either way. I feel like they do love a good crossover. Marvel does. So, maybe they're bringing her back. I mean, the only thing is, like, her show was on Netflix also. Was not on Disney. It wasn't really part of the Marvel universe. It was a Netflix situation. So if it was on Netflix and they were rebooting Daredevil there, I would say yes for sure. But since it's on Disney Plus, I mean, I don't know. It could go either way, honestly. I feel like I'd rather not have all those people in Daredevil because it's like, I mean, I don't know. If you watch Daredevil and Jessica Jones was actually my second favorite, but that Luke Cage show, and it's like not as good quality in my opinion. Like, I feel like you're bringing like lesser situations into a better show. And I would prefer that they did not do that, honestly. That's just. But
like you said, she was probably the best one out of that whole thing. Like Iron Fist is not going to come back. I doubt it.
Stupid.
Of course, he said, I'd love to come back. Well, of course he's going to say that. Everybody that works on a show like this is going to say, I'd love to come back. You hear that?
Who doesn't want to work on a Marvel show?
Yeah. And now that you know it's going to be on Disney Plus, and they have 18 episodes, which is like the biggest announcement for a series for an episode count that Disney Plus has ever had. You hear that. Okay, now Daredevil might be crossing with other people. Of course you want to come back. You want that job. You want that Disney money. You want that Marvel money, right? Of course she wants to come back, Kristen Ritter. I bet she's training just in case they call her. Or as this world works and how Marvel works, you don't know until they let you know. And so there's just speculation right now. I think actually when it comes down to her character, I think that she would be the better of all of them to come back. Luke Cage, he was okay. Luke Cage was okay. Iron Fist, I thought was hot ass garbage. I'm not gonna lie. I thought he couldn't fight. I felt like his acting was subpar. I'm gonna trash talk him a little bit. Sorry, buddy. And maybe he just wasn't right for the show. Maybe he just wasn't right. Maybe they should have gotten a martial arts person actually, and not had somebody. He got better. He did get better as it went along. But I tried to watch Iron Fist, and I was like, I couldn't do it. They did 2 seasons, and I was like, really? They did 2 seasons? And on top of that, I saw him in Defenders, and if you watch the Defenders series, like there was some great acting in there. Charlie Cox was great. Kristen Ritter was great. You had Sigourney Weaver come in there as like the villain. She was awesome. And you had even who played, even Luke Cage. She was good. But Iron Fist, as I was watching that, I was like, who is this guy? This is before I tried watching it. And I'm like, and why is he here? Because he just looked like a sore thumb amongst the whole crew, the whole cast. So for me, I think Disney's going to pick and choose. I do believe that if they were going to choose one person, it'd be Kristen Ritter to come back and make her Jessica Jones and give her own spinoff because she's great. She's quirky. She has that kind of rough attitude that works really well for Jessica Jones. That kind of like vulgar roughness. It's just her. It's the way her performance comes across. I think she does a great job. So I believe that more. Again, I think She-Hulk will probably be in there more than anybody else. They'll bring her in because they already started that on the She-Hulk series.
It's such a weird difference of tone, though, She-Hulk and Daredevil.
It is.
It's such a weird thing to cross over. And it changed his character when he was on She-Hulk because it's more of a comedy situation as opposed to a drama. So like I'd be really interested to see her in his world and how that would work, you know?
Well, it would have to be different. And as we were saying before, like it was different when he was there. And that's why there was a speculation going around online saying like, is he the same Daredevil? Is he not the same Daredevil? And Charlie Cox is like, well, we're not really sure. And then D'Onofrio was the one that actually kind of, and he says before, I'll touch upon this again. D'Onofrio kind of was the guy that said, hey, I'm the same person. I'm the same Kingpin. This has just been after the blip. The blip happened in the Marvel Universe. 5 years have gone by. Now Kingpin's not the same Kingpin as he was before because he's got to work his way back up and become, the person he was before. And the rumors going around is he's going to run for mayor in this. And you'll have Mayor Kingpin from the comics, which was a big hit. He got shot. Spoiler if you haven't seen Hawkeye, but he got shot in Hawkeye and by Echo. And apparently his eye's going to be damaged. And, in the comic books, same thing happened. So yeah, and Marvel likes to go to the comic books. So they're going to the comic books. So he had the Hawaiian shirt. That's a comic book thing. Kingpin wore that in the comic books. People are going nuts about that during Hawkeye. Myself personally, because I was like, this is not the Kingpin that I've seen on the Netflix series. And everyone was going up and down like, is this the same guy or not? And D'Onofrio was like, hey guys, calm down. A lot's happened since he was around during the Netflix series. He's got to make his way back. So they're saying in Born Again, he'll have to build his way back up. Something's going to happen with that eye. And he'll probably run for mayor. Those are the rumors going around there. And now that Charlie Cox said, probably the same guy, that leads all this speculation to who could come back from the original Netflix show and if they're going to connect them more and more and more as those 18 episodes span off. And we'll only find out when they actually come out. And they haven't started shooting yet. They start shooting in February. So they start shooting next month in New York City. So once they start shooting, of course, more things will come out. Not everything, because that's how this works. We won't really know until we get a teaser or an official announcement from Marvel. But for me, I'm excited about it. Sabrina, would you like to see like the original cast, like Foggy come back, Karen come back? Would you like to see that dynamic? Or do you think that they should actually like take those characters that worked well and make it different?
I mean, it just depends on where he is. If it's post blip, I mean, really, it could be anything. Like they could have moved on and been somewhere else. It's totally feasible that they're not there anymore. And it's totally feasible that they are. Like if they didn't blip and he did, or they, I mean, it just depends on how they play it. They can play it any way they want to, which makes it really hard to speculate because all of the normal lines of common sense don't work because literally the way that they've done this multiverse and the blip and the timeline can be anything. So, I mean, it's not as easy as it used to be to guess things. You know what I mean? I feel there's been no rumors of those two coming back. I know a lot of people want them to come back. I feel like they're going to go in a different direction personally, but I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't be upset if they came back. I don't know. I feel like they're not going to go that way.
Yeah. And that's the thing too. Even Karen was saying, she was in an interview, the actress that played Karen, and she was saying, hey, I haven't been called. I have no knowledge. I wish them the best. I love to be back, but they haven't got a hold of me, which is what everybody says. Everybody says that that's how this town works. If you're an actor, you know how this works. They had you sign an NDA. Anything
Especially
Marvel.
Marvel, though.
Especially Marvel. I've worked on so many productions, though. It's the first thing you do day one when you sign up. They hand you the NDA. You sign it. You're done. You say anything, you get sued. That's how it works. Or you post anything, they come after you because it's so secretive. If you don't know anything about this town, that's a big thing. And Disney's been doing that for years with their Marvel franchise because, of course, they don't want this getting out. And stuff always leaks, like the Spider-Man being in No Way Home, like Andrew being in there and Toby being in there. That stuff leaked a little ahead of time. Not everybody knew. If you weren't actually paying attention to a lot of stuff online, you didn't know, and people were surprised. I wish I was, but I knew ahead of time that was happening. And, of course, I knew people that were working on the production, so I heard it too, and they were like, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. And that's what happens, though. It's like, you sign the NDA, you don't know what's going to happen because you can't say it. You can't say a word, or you never work for them again. And who doesn't want to work for Marvel if you're an actor in this town? Be serious. Just be serious. It's the best place to be. I've worked for them before, and that's all I can say, but they are amazing. They are fucking great. And everyone from top to the bottom are the nicest people in the world. And I got to tell you, I love work for them again. Call me. Anyways, what do you think about it? Let us know. Daredevil, Season 1, reboot, Born Again. Will Kristen Ritter be back? That's the question. All right, we're going to move on to our next subject because we have a lot to talk about tonight. And this was something that is, again, in the world of, is it true? Is it not true? It could be true. Brendan Fraser coming back to the Mummy franchise. Now, Brendan Fraser has been in the news a lot because of course, The Whale, which we've talked about in the program. The Whale came out. Everyone's giving him his props for his acting. He had that almost 10-minute standing ovation. And people are saying now, and he says he's heard this for a long time, it's like, would you do another Mummy movie? Well, now that this has been kind of in the news more, Brendan addressed this in a recent interview. And here's what he had to say.
When asked if he'd return, Fraser said, I'm not opposed to do it. I don't know what an actor who doesn't want a job. I don't think I've been this famous and unsalaried at the same time in my professional life, so sign me up.
which I thought was pretty freaking good. He's like, hey, I've been on the limelight for a long time. He's been a dad at home and he's been raising his kids, living on a ranch, shooting bow and arrows at targets. That's the thing he's been doing. He learned to shoot bow and arrow apparently. So he's been away from it because of the Me Too shit that went down with him. He had a producer come after him and physically touch him, a male producer, and it freaked him out. He said, fuck this town. He got out and he raised his kids. He went away for a long time. Doom Patrol brought him back. He's done some voiceover stuff, but now he's been gone for so long. He's like, I need money. I'm an actor. I'm ready to work. The climate's changed. People are actually being respectful in a way they weren't before. Even Hugh Jackman was on an interview recently saying that the film sets have changed a lot for the good. He was talking about working on X-Men, the original X-Men with Bryan Singer. And Bryan Singer has been known in this town to be someone been a little touchy, just saying. And he's apparently done some things, hasn't been proven, but we've been hearing it over and over again through the years, what it's like for Bryan Singer. Now, I've heard also that he's a great guy, that he's awesome. I have friends that know him, that say they love him, they've gone to his parties, and he's amazing. But Hugh Jackman was saying that there was some stuff going on that set, and it was his first job from Australia here, and he said it wasn't what he was expecting, and it's changed, it's better. And Brendan Fraser said the same thing. A lot of actors have come out and said the same thing. But Sabrina, you hear about this, okay? Brendan Fraser, a person dealt with Me Too, and now he's coming back. He's having an opportunity to work again. The Mummy was a huge hit for him. Huge franchise.
He didn't deal with the Me Too. He was Me Too.
He left.
He didn't touch anyone. He was touched.
Yeah, he was touched.
So it was his choice. It's not like someone, it's not like someone who was, like Harvey Weinstein. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like you're making it sound like he did something wrong. He didn't do anything wrong. He was touched. He had enough, and then he walked away. So
but but you hear this, and do you think that he wasn't touched. He wasn't touched, but he was also involved.
He was touched. He didn't touch anyone.
Well, okay, yeah, he wasn't the person that was doing the touching. How about that? but he wasn't the person doing the touching. He was touched when he was working in Hollywood, and it freaked him out, and he left. He said, "Fuck this town." But he was, he was involved.
I'm just clarifying because you're making it sound like he was Me Too'd, like all the touchy people. Like he was a victim, not an assaulter or assaulter.
He wasn't an assaulter, but like
assaulter's not a word.
With this whole world though, and he had to walk away. He's coming back, right? He's coming back. And the Mummy movies he's been asked about these for years, right? And so the Mummy movies might come back because of course.
I don't think he could do a Mummy movie
do you
now,
think he'd do it again?
I don't think he could physically. I'm sure he would. I don't think he could physically do it. He's old, a lot older than he was. I'm sorry, he's not old. And he's a little bit heavier than he was when he was I just don't think he's physically in the position to do a Mummy movie. You know what I mean? Like, and even Doom Patrol, which is a superhero movie, his stand-in does all of the physicality. He just voiceovers.
He does.
That the person in that mask is his stand-in who does everything on set. All he does is voiceover. If they do flashbacks to before he was, the metalhead, then he acts. You know what I mean? But other than that, which has been very few episodes in the series. So, I just don't. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think he's physically in a position. I mean, that doesn't mean he can't go to the gym every day and get ripped or whatever. Like, I'm sure he could, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's prepared or, I don't know. I feel like no.
I also think though, but then again, they could do the whole route. Like, look at Raiders of the Lost Ark, right? Where you have, you bring in the father figure, Junior, you bring in Sean Connery. And you have him play the older character. He's a little bit bumbling. Maybe his son's his age from the original movies. Maybe his son's in his 30s or his 40s. They tried the son factor.
Over the kid thing. It's like, for fuck's sake.
But I could see them doing it. So I'm just throwing this out there. If they did that, right, and Brendan Fraser came back and they get somebody like, I don't know, I'm going to throw out, Tom Holland plays his kid. Something like that, Would you go see something like that? I think Tom Holland still be a little young because his kid was older before. So it would probably be someone like, I don't know, Clint Eastwood's kid or something. Would you go see something like that?
I don't know. It depends. It depends on who's directing it. It depends on, what it looks like. And I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of recycling shit over and 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 over again. It's like, just get a new fucking idea already. So, I went to go see the Tom Cruise Mummy. It was terrible. So, I'm a little sour.
I fell asleep during it, the first viewing, unfortunately. And I was very upset because I really wanted to see that movie because I love to see Tom Cruise run. I'm not going to lie. And so I really wanted to see that movie and I fell asleep. I don't know why. But I fell asleep.
It was crap, that's why.
I'm not blaming the movie, but
it was crap.
It could have been any factor. It wasn't the best. And they were supposed to reboot the whole monster franchise with that. And they even added a bunch of stuff for Tom Cruise to run. No joke. It was in his contract because he said it was missing him running. Real story. And it just it was in his contract. Yeah, that was the thing. That his one note for the movie was he needed to run more. And so they add this whole sequence where he's running this downtown. If you watch the movie, you'll see it. There's this whole sequence that they added where he's running and there's a car chase and he's just Tom Cruise running through the streets. Ridiculous. They added that because Tom Cruise said there was not enough running in the movie. And the movie didn't do well, unfortunately. And Tom's a great guy, I think. Working with him before, I think he did a great job. And he was in Top Gun Maverick, and he was very dedicated to his craft, and he was very serious about it. And I don't think it's his fault. I just think that it just wasn't right. The script wasn't right. The bad guy wasn't right. The Mummy didn't work that well for me. Oh, we're having some thunder and lightning here in the valley right now. I think the lights flickered a little bit. If we lose you guys, there's a flood watch right now in the valley, or actually in Los Angeles. I've never heard thunder out here like that right now. That was
long
cool.
Crack of thunder.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. But we're okay. We're still here for now. If we go out, that's why. But anyways, so Tom Cruise did a good job. I don't blame him. I think the Mummy movie, I don't know if it would work these days. I don't know if it would either. I think that Brendan Fraser would be great to come back if they could do it right. I love him. I think he's good. I really think he's really good. So I don't know. And I want to see The Whale still. We still haven't watched that. When we watch it, we'll do a review on that. We got to catch up this week on some movies. Unfortunately, I was working on some top secret thing this past few days, which I will tell you about once it comes out. But that's also, again, as we say on this show, actual people that work on set, that know the entertainment industry, that actually are insiders, that aren't just somebody that, reads an article online and says, well, I'm going to tell you about this and that. No, we've watched enough of that shit online. This show is about bringing people online that actually know and work in the industry. Hence, we'll have more of those as we develop the show and build. But I'm gonna tell us one thing about this. This whole thing I was talking about was the Me Too thing. And with Brendan Fraser, I feel like, and the money thing. With him, since he's been gone from the industry for so long, he finally feels comfortable coming back. Of course he would jump on this, you know? And it sounds like he's positive about just like working again, right? Sabrina, don't you think that he just seems like he like wants to work? Like he's ready to work again. He's like, he can tell that the town's changed, it's getting better, and he wants to get back to work. And that makes sense, doesn't it? Don't you want to see him in more things now that he can have this opportunity, that he feels good about it? I think that's a great thing.
If I'm being perfectly honest, I was really never a Brendan Fraser fan ever. I do love him in Doom Patrol though.
Yeah.
He's great in Doom Patrol. So like I'm finding him, I guess, now. But you know, I was never really a tremendous Brendan Fraser fan. But yeah, I would love to see him in more stuff. You know, he's good. Supposedly he's amazing in The Whale. You know, and that's something that he's never done before, like super dramatic acting like that, you know. So he's great at comedy. So if he's great at drama, I mean, I haven't seen The Whale, but critically acclaimed. So I mean, obviously he's a spectacular actor in all aspects. So why the fuck not?
Yeah. And this is his opportunity for a comeback. Something like this always does it for people. Get that great role, and then people pay attention to you again. And then the doors open in Hollywood, say, welcome back. Let's get to work. All right. What do you think about this? Would you watch the Mummy movie? Leave us some comments and we'll get back to you and talk about it, because it'd be exciting to hear what you say. Let us know. All right. We're going to move on. We got to move on. So something else, which I was excited about because we've been talking about him recently, Nicolas Cage. So Nick Cage is talking about what? Face Off 2. Yeah. So they've been talking about Face Off 2 for a while. Before, it was rumored that it was going to be a whole new reboot. We're going to start over again, do it again. Of course, that's Hollywood. Sometimes it's like we don't have an idea. Well, we'll be looking in the past and find what did well. What can we do now again? But Nicolas Cage says, no, we're going to do a sequel, actually. And here's what Nick Cage had to say about Face Off 2.
They're going to do a sequel that lends itself to a lot of twists and turns and unpredictability. It's almost like if you factor in the idea of offspring and Castor and Sean having children, and these children grow up, then it becomes like three-dimensional chess. And then it's not just the two, John Travolta and myself, it's four of us ping-ponging and going at different levels, and it becomes even more complex. I think there's a lot of fertile ground there. I had maybe one meeting in an office, but I haven't heard anything since, so I don't know.
Yeah, and as this town goes again, people look at these old movies and say, hey, Nick Cage is in the news because he's doing that Renfield show. Movie's coming out. So that's coming up. So he's doing interviews for Renfield, and people are asking like, well, what about Face Off 2? We've been talking about this for years. That might be fun. Him, Travolta, their kids, all swapping their faces. Now the question is, are they swapping faces with their kids? Or are they swapping their faces again? Are their kids swapping faces? What's happening here? Are we doing a little mix-up? Maybe dad and the other kid and this dad and this one's kid? Sabrina, what do you think about this? Would you watch Face Off 2 if it was all this happening?
I literally just said I'm not a big fan of rebooting shit that happened already. That was really good. I am down for another National Treasure, though. For some reason, that doesn't bother me. Because it's not going to be some offspring weird story. Like, this is the thing. They have kids. The kids are going to face off. Everyone's facing. It's fucking stupid. I mean, I don't know. That movie honestly should not have worked, 25 years ago when it came out. But it really did. And it was really good in a weird way. And I really think you should leave it the fuck alone, personally. Leave it alone. But it was great. Walk away. You know what I'm saying? I'm good.
I don't think they will, though.
Well, they should. They really should. It was a miracle that it worked one time, honestly. A miracle. So just, cut the shit, do another National Treasure.
But it's Nick Cage.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take your face off.
Would watch it. I just don't think it's a good idea. Honestly. It was like John Travolta was playing Nick Cage. Nick Cage was playing Nick Cage. It was like a whole thing.
Yeah, to see how they portray each other. It's like them doing impressions of themselves, of each other,
I think you should definitely leave that one in the past.
I think that's what it was. Though. It worked so well. It was like Nick Cage playing Travolta and Travolta playing Nick Cage, and their interpretation of each other's style and their acting method was funny. It worked really well, and it was a good '90s action movie. I mean, that was a time where Nick Cage was like big, you know. You had Con Air. We talked about
Travolta
he was doing The Rock, and Travolta was huge at that time, and that was kind of a good like two movie stars coming together and clashing, which really wasn't happening a lot. And that was the time.
The fucking premise is insane. Like the whole, the story is insane. The fact that it worked and that it still holds up to this day is insane. So I honestly would not touch that.
Going undercover, playing him, and they had the whole lab sequence, and they're changing their faces. I mean, it's a fun movie. If you haven't seen Face Off, go back. It's a great '90s action movie. It's a lot of fun.
But please don't make another
dialogue together. But what if it's one of those things where it just works? So it depends on the script for me. If the script is good, I'll watch it. You know, we won't really know. I mean, it's been so long.
You can't recreate that.
It's always kids. It's always kids bringing their kids. And let's do something.
I know, which is also annoying. It's like, now I have a child and they're going to do what I did. It's like, please stop.
Yeah, I know. And
don't force your children to do what you do too. Like, it's ridiculous.
I don't know. I would watch it.
Of course,
I'd pop it in. I don't care if it's good or bad. I'm going to love it because I'm going to love to see those two on screen together. I don't even know when the last time. That was probably the last time they were on screen together. I can't think of another movie. If anybody knows another movie out there that they've been together since then, let us know because that's fun. Number one sucked, and so number two. I guess CR didn't like Face Off. But the whole premise was a
second one.
Yeah, but the whole premise was like, you have this big like criminal, and then you have this cop, and he's gonna go in there and get into the crime lord and be him and figure out how to take it down and get involved, and then
whatever.
But they had daughters in, didn't they? Didn't Travolta have a daughter, or Nick Cage had a daughter?
I literally saw the movie 25 years ago. I just I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, enough is enough. Just stop with the remakes and the redos and the sequels and the crap. Like, please stop.
Go back and watch the movie.
The premise was ridiculous.
Everybody out there.
GR says people will watch anything, and he is absolutely right.
It's very true. It's very true. But it's a thing. Nick Cage says that he's at a meeting. Again, it's not official yet, but the fact that Nick Cage is talking about it and there's an idea out there, it means it could happen. Look at the Bill and Ted movie that came out. Bill and Ted, the third one, Face the Music.
So bad.
But Face the Music, they were talking about that for years, and that happened.
The daughters. See, again, children.
Daughters, yeah. But the kids were good. The ones that played the kids were pretty good. They actually were good interpretation of their acting. And again, that was a campy comedy as opposed to this would be a drama, I would think. A drama action film. Comedies might work better. And that movie was all right. It wasn't the best. And they had a script for years. For years. I remember talking to the guy who played Bill. He was directing for a long time. And he was like, we had a script. And this was like 5 years before it actually came out. He's like, we're really close. Crickets. And then the movie came out. And it came out during COVID. So, of course, it was directly to like streaming. And then you had to buy it or rent it. And then eventually it went out after that. And so it kind of maybe hurt the movie in the long run. But again, the movie wasn't the best. And the best song ever really wasn't the best song ever, I don't think. So
it's terrible.
What do you do? But again, Face Off 2, totally different. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it won't. What does everybody think out there, huh? Would you watch Face Off 2? What was
Jake said call Arnold and have Face Off meets Total Recall. He said he'd eat all the popcorn.
I'd be down. I'd be down for that. Come on, bring in the Schwarzenegger. He can do it. The Governor himself for Face Off 2. What do you think? Would you watch Face Off 2? Do you think this is a great idea? Do you think this is maybe something that should be left in the past and left alone and not brought up again?
I wish I was 10, GR. I wish I was 10 when that movie came out.
What do you think?
Thank you for the compliment, though.
Let us know. And now we're going to move on to our next subject, which is, again, something we've been talking about. Everyone's been talking about Avatar 2. All right. And the thing about Avatar 2 is now it has breached that line, everybody. There are going to be more Avatar movies. They're coming. The second one has already made $1.7 billion. Yes, $1.7 billion. And they're expected to actually break that. This is from the Gizmodo, I think. It's about to actually break that eventually. So the Way of Water has crossed, actually, I think it's like 1.7 or 1.9 and it's growing and growing and growing.
The Way of the Water has grossed. I can't read that number.
It's grossed 517 million in North America, and this number is actually wrong. And it should be 1.79 billion over 1.19 billion overseas, but overall it's close to the 2 billion mark.
The movie success rate keeps growing as it's now the highest grossing movie released in 2022 and the second biggest movie of the pandemic era. As it stands, The Way of the Water seems set to hit the 2 billion mark. There are only 5 movies in history to have surpassed 2 billion global grossing mark, which are Avatar with 2.9 billion, Avengers Endgame with 2.79 billion, Titanic with 2.2 billion, Star Wars The Force Awakens with 2.069 billion, and Avengers Infinity War 2.4 billion. Seeing as The Way of the Water prequel tops the list, it is safe to say that the sequel has a good chance of getting there, especially with the 4 weeks at the box office.
Yeah, and Cameron went on to actually say about this in an interview that it looks just like with the momentum that the film has now, that it will easily pass or break even in the next few days. So it looks like he can't wiggle out of doing more, and that he's going to be doing these movies for the next 6 or 7 years. And he's okay with that. Because the fact is, if it makes money, they're going to make more. And they said that before. He said he wasn't sure how he was going to do it. I mean, the last one came out so long ago. They're like, well, what's going to happen, right? What's going to happen? Is it going to be like the same? I mean, the last one at this point, it's been out. They re-released it again when this one was coming out. So it's made, the most ever 2.9. Well, at this point, it's like 1.7 billion. And that's, worldwide. So the idea is, I mean, it's only like 3-4 weeks in. Give it another month. It might break that number. It just broke Jurassic World Dominion. It just broke that one's. That was number 7 before. Dominion. It just broke that. So the fact is, it's going higher and higher and higher. It just topped Top Gun Maverick for the highest grossing movie of 2022, which again is one of those things that it's like, yeah, it's 2022, but it's also 2023. So does that actually work? I don't know, James Cameron. I'm calling shenanigans. I'm calling shenanigans on that. Release it at that late in the year. I don't know if it should count for 2022. I guess it still does because it came out at that time. But the thing is, the movie's it's building momentum. It's still making money. It's been out for 4 weeks, and it keeps going up and up and up. And as we said before, they've already shot the third one. Third one's in the can. Fourth one, they started shooting because the idea was, James Cameron said, is he didn't want the kids in it to grow up too fast where they have to de-age them or recast or doing like that. And the kids are kids in the second, third, and fourth. So he shot all those scenes back to back to back, just in case it does well, that it's all done. They're the same age. You don't have to worry about them aging out of their roles, which is great. He's thinking ahead. But again, you don't really know if this is going to do that well. Sabrina, do you think that it was a good idea for him to actually shoot them back to back? Do you think that
you didn't think it was gonna do that well? Are you kidding? They never would have spent all of that money.
Well, he kept saying he wasn't sure. He kept saying he wasn't sure.
Look, the movie is a piece of shit. However, like, everyone's gonna go see it because the first one was such a marvel. It was like, oh, it's brand new technology, and like this is also new technology because they had to do all this motion cap shit underwater, which is stupid. But like, it's people are just going to go see it just because it's a sequel to Avatar. So it could be like a giant turd and people are still going to go fucking see it. Now, GR, I 100% agree with you. Way too long. Nobody needs to be sitting in a movie theater for that long. It's ridiculous. Like, hard fucking pass, bro. Also, the first one, in my opinion, wasn't that fucking great either. It was like so predictable. Quite obviously, like anyone who read John Campbell's The Hero's Journey, which if you've ever taken a screenwriting class in your life, you had to read that book. It is 100% obviously The Hero's Journey. As soon as they introduced that stupid flying dragon that no one could fly, I knew that kid was going to fly the dragon and save the day. It is so, like, I hate watching a movie that is so force-fed to you or spoon-fed to you. It's absurd. I'm upset that I even have to see these blue people everywhere I go now. And I'm certainly not going to watch the movie. And I mean, of course, it's smart for them to shoot it back to back because you're doing all of this dumb shit anyway. So why not get more bang for your buck? The crew's already there. You have all this technology already working. Like that's a smart move for sure. If you're going to make another one, the fact that another one is coming out makes me nauseous. Okay. I've had enough. I don't want to hear about it. I don't like it. I don't want to watch it. It's stupid.
Yeah. Next Christmas, the next one comes out. Like you said, there's only some visual effects left. Honestly, I'm going to take the other side of this though. The more I hear about this, the more I want to see it. I know it's long. I went actually over the holiday season. I rewatched the original one, and yeah, it's pretty good. Again, it is Ferngully to me. It's totally like a live action Ferngully.
That 3 hour and 10-minute piece of crap.
I did. Now I had a lot of traveling. I was one of those people that unfortunately were traveling for like 3 days to get home for the holiday season. I was stuck in Chicago for a couple days, and during that time, one of my many flights, I actually watched it. I was traveling from Phoenix to Grand Rapids, Michigan, and then we were about to land. They sent us back to Phoenix. So that was a 6.5 hour flight. So during that flight, I watched it. I figured, why not? Pop on Avatar. I downloaded just for the fun of it, for shits and giggles when I was about to leave. I'm like, maybe I'll watch it again.
You actually downloaded it? So that, yeah, okay. You're insane.
So I watched it. And honestly, it's a pretty good movie. It is. I mean, the action is good. Not. It's the Ferngully thing is a lot for me. It is very similar to that, but it made me intrigued to go back and now watch the new one and see what they're going to do. And James Cameron himself.
I'm putting this comment back up, Brian. Not impressed. Sheeple movie. Okay. Just want to make sure you saw that. Everyone agrees with me, not you.
And I want to talk to you about the length too. So I think it is too long. I think that's insane how long it is. But James Cameron, you know what he said to that? James Cameron says, well, they asked him in an interview. They go, so what are you going to say to people that say it's too long and you have to go to the bathroom and there's no time for, people can't hold it during the whole movie. You know what he says? They'll come back and watch it again. So he said that because it's so good, they'll just keep coming back to watch it. So they'll see the whole movie eventually based off how many three or four viewings that they have watching the movie because it's a masterpiece and it's that good. So he was so confident and kind of arrogant that, that you would come back and watch it.
Now I'm definitely not going to watch that shithole movie.
There's this whole platform that we have here in Los Angeles called 4DX. We can go watch a movie and there's like chairs that move. They vibrate. They go up and down. There's air blowing, winds blowing in your face.
They spray water at your face.
They spray water. You can smell things. It's 3D too. So that's probably how I'll go and watch it. I think that'll be interesting. I think that's kind of built for that.
Have fun. Have a great time. Bring some snacks and a bottle of wine because you're going to be there all day.
Watch Batman versus Superman that way. It's pretty cool. And Superman's flying. It felt like the wind going through your hair. And it felt like you're flying. So like I could see when they're flying on those big dragon things. It probably is pretty cool. So that's where I'm like, that'd be maybe the experience for a movie like this. Again, they make more money on there. Again, it raises it closer to that highest grossing movie of all time mark, which it'll probably get to because
you're going to give that pompous asshole money. Like, come on.
I will. I'll go see it at least once.
Forget that.
I'm not going to go multiple times. I'll go see at least once. I haven't made it.
Well, then go to a screening. Go to a free screening for SAG or something. Don't give him money.
He's not going to let that happen. He's not going to let that happen. He's going to say,
what do you mean? My boss and everyone in my office went to free screenings of it. There's a million free screenings. Go see it for free. I guess
they were happening. They're probably not happening now, though. I don't think they're happening now because he wants that money, bling, bling. That's what he wants. James Cameron's all about that money.
How about an intermission? I would be so pissed. Then the whole movie trickles out and everyone has to wait in line and stuff like they do in a play. That would be terrible.
I heard,
if the intermission was like a come back later and watch it.
Yeah, but movies don't really work that well for intermission. I actually heard they have like for, the Oscars coming up, they actually have, you can go and watch all the Oscar movies here in Los Angeles. And they have like a whole day marathon. It's actually 2 days now because there's so many movies. You can buy a ticket to AMC and you can spend a whole day, 24 hours or 48 hours in the theater and watch every movie. That's too much. It's too much for me. This movie is borderline like that too. It's too much. It's like, who wants to be there all day? I used to go up when I was younger. I go see back-to-back movies to be kind of fun. But like one movie that long, you have no time for a break. Again, I will go see it because of how well it's doing.
It's also uncomfortable to sit there like in the chair for so long. It's like exhausting.
I'm going to go see it though. I'll let you know when I see it. Sabrina's not going to see it, but maybe I'll force her to go see it so we can talk about it on the show.
Absolutely not. Nope.
We'll see what happens. But we have to move on because we've been talking about this for a while. What do you think about Avatar? Does this surprise you that it's actually become, so high? It's like the number 7th highest grossing movie of all time. Do you expect it to break the first one? I mean, James Cameron for a long time had the number 1 and 2 highest grossing movies of all time. Of course, it started with Titanic. He actually beat the highest grossing with Avatar.
He cheated.
He did bring it. He did bring it out.
He kept re-releasing it to theaters so that it could make more money and he could keep his spot. That's bullshit and cheating.
A lot of movies don't get that, but he did that.
Pompous ass.
He did that.
He did it many times.
He did.
He re-released Avatar just before this came out.
He did. He released it again. He re-released in November so that people could go out and watch it again, he said, so they could get the experience before this one comes out.
Before they go see the water version of the same movie. Ridiculous.
To me, it's a money grab. It's a money grab. It is.
100%,
it's totally money grab.
And
that
bumped up Avatar again. That bumped up Avatar up the list again.
Yeah,
so suck it. That's fucking cheating.
So he overcame the Avatar, he overcame Titanic. And so now he's got, and then he was 1 and 2 for a long time. Then Avengers happened and took out Titanic finally. And then took the number 2 spot. Titanic's still number 3. I don't know. Do you think that this will become Avatar 2 as number 1, Avatar 1 as number 2 as the highest grossing movies of all time? Let us know what you think.
Well, when 3 comes out, he's going to re-release 1 and 2 so that they'll make a shit ton more money because people will go watch both of those and then go watch the third one. This guy's new Looney Tunes. I mean, I guess it's really smart, but he's really holding on to that legacy of being the highest grossing director. Go fuck yourself. Avengers, re-release freaking your movie so that you could beat him. Take down James Cameron. His movies suck. Actually, Titanic was really, really good, but this sucks.
What do you all think about this? Do you think that it's a good movie? Have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you love it? Do you think that you're ready for 3, 4, 5, and maybe 6? At least 4 and 5.
No.
And there's supposed to be like a big climactic finish in 5. And they're supposed to go to Earth at 4, apparently. This stuff's leaking out there because, he's been working on it and shooting and talking about it forever. What do you think? Leave some comments. Let us know. But now it's time for us to move on to our featured story of the evening. Used to be a big wrestling fan, and there was a lot of stuff as we've been talking about tonight with the Me Too stuff and what's been happening. Vince McMahon comes up. Now, if you haven't watched wrestling, Vince McMahon is the man. He is the person that took the WWF at the time, now it's WWE, the biggest World Wrestling Federation organization, to the highest level. He started WrestleMania. He took it to the mainstream media. He made it entertainment. He made it something that everyone would know and love, and that's our biggest superstars like The Rock. Everyone knows Dwayne Johnson now came from this. Vince McMahon made The Rock. He really did. So now Vince McMahon, he had to step down a while ago as the chairman of the WWE because of what? Me Too stuff. Now Vince McMahon has been gone for not that long, and Vince McMahon is back. So here's what's happening in the world of Vince McMahon.
Vince McMahon has returned to the World Wrestling Entertainment Board of Directors to facilitate a potential sale ahead of the company's media rights renewal. WWE has hired JP Morgan to help the company advise on a potential sale, according to people familiar with the matter. JP Morgan declined to comment. A WWE spokesman couldn't immediately be reached for comment. If a deal occurs, it would likely occur in the next 3 to 6 months, said the people who asked not to be named because discussions are private. WWE plans to talk to potential buyers before it makes decisions on TV rights renewal agreements. McMahon's return doesn't affect the current leadership. McMahon's daughter, Stephanie, and former CAA agent Nick Khan are co-CEOs, but it remains unclear what type of role, if any, McMahon would want if WWE sold the company. WWE has told investors that McMahon's role at the company is essential in our ability to create popular characters and creative storylines. Currently, McMahon doesn't have a formal say in the company's creative direction. Now,
okay, we got to talk about this. This is one of those things that, again, takes it back to something that we've been talking about on the show. The Me Too era, right? Now, McMahon was apparently in the 90s, sleeping with their superstars or getting them to do sexual favors and then paying them off for millions of dollars. That was the thing that came out. So McMahon had to step down as chairman of WWE. This just happened back in June. He stepped down. There was big controversy. His son-in-law, Triple H, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Paul Levesque, took over along with his daughter, Stephanie McMahon, and they started running the company. And they said, Well, Vince is gone. He's done. This is best for business, as Vince McMahon would say, best for business. And he stepped down. He retired. But now, apparently, has to be here because they're going to sell the company. But they've talked about selling the company before. Now, is this just smoke and mirrors? Sabrina, do you think this is smoke and mirrors so Vince can come back and run his company again? They're saying that he's not going to be in charge of creative. He's just here to help facilitate selling it because he is WWE. Do you think it's smoke and mirrors so he'll become in charge again? Or do you think this is honest, one of those things that they're just bringing him back because they need him to negotiate this stuff to sell the company because it's time for it to leave hands and go to somebody new?
I mean, JP Morgan is facilitating the sale, so I don't know why he would need to be involved. That's weird. Also, his daughter is the CEO, so like, I mean, I'm sure he's been running the company behind closed doors the whole time anyway. I don't really understand like what is the only. I'm sure he misses the limelight and misses being, at the stupid matches and making his stupid announcements and going in the ring and half-ass wrestling with his old friggin' self. So I don't really think I don't really think it has anything to do with the sale, especially if you've hired JP Morgan to facilitate such a thing. The weird thing is it says that if the company does sell, that he may stay on in some capacity, which I think is super weird after him stepping down. But I mean, I guess he's really the only person who has been able to take wrestling to such a notorious level. Like, there were like a few separate companies and like they've all been gobbled up by him. He is the most successful curator of characters for wrestling, so I guess if someone was buying it, they might want some guidance from him. But again, he could have stayed in the sidelines and had Stephanie do all this shit and he could just tell her what to do. So I think he just misses it. I think he just wants to be back out there.
I 100% agree with that. I think that he can't stand not being in charge. The man is 77 years old. Okay. He's 77 years old. And if you look at this picture right now, look at the shape this man's in. Like, he loves the attention. He's like, I work out and I have grapefruits and I'm the man that runs this business. I feel like
so gross.
I feel like he can't step aside. And he stepped aside for how long? I mean, since June. That's not that long. And I feel like there were probably conversations where I guarantee he was still working behind the sidelines doing stuff.
For sure.
The fact that they're saying that he might stick on is, again, one of those things that he always wants the power. Vince McMahon. And if you don't know wrestling, I guarantee you've heard the name Vince McMahon before because he's just so iconic with it. Again, Sabrina talked about, he bought up ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling, which was a huge, huge hardcore company that was extreme. They did anything that throws chairs, tables, barbed wire. A lot of the legends came from there, like Mankind, Mick Foley, when he was Cactus Jack, Terry Funk, and they came to WWE. He also bought WCW, World Championship Wrestling, again, his competition, who are actually in charge of the ratings. They were ahead in the ratings, I should say. They were beating the WWF for a long time. Vince bought them out. And he took everybody together and he kept buying everybody and then making his own way. He is wrestling. He is. And I think that he cannot hand over those reins to anybody. Now, the Triple H and his daughter have been in charge for a while. I think it's driving him nuts. A part of me thinks that maybe he did step down for a couple months and it just drove him nuts. Like,
no way.
I'm told that he eats, breathes, shits, sleeps this product. He wants his name and his involvement, his hands and everything. So the fact that he had to step aside, I think has been driving him nuts. And maybe he has been involved, but I think he did step aside for a little bit. Now, the fact that he's attached to it to be like still running it maybe creatively afterwards, I think is nuts. What he was doing with these women, I think is uncalled for. Now, I know those days, I used to watch during those days when these women that were coming forward now saying like, of course he sexually harassed me. I took a buyout and I was stayed silent, which I think is not right. They should have been loud and clear about that back in the day, and they weren't. And he was allowed to do this. I think his wife knew about it for a long time, and she stayed silent because you could tell there was a long time where his wife and him were on camera together, and you could tell that she really hated him. She's not that good of an actor. She's not. Trust me.
She's a really nice person. I met her at a catering gig. She's a really nice person.
I've heard that, and I think that he's been behind her back constantly, and he just does what Vince McMahon does, and he never had any kind of ramifications. And now that he finally had some kind of ramifications, which really were nothing because there's nothing happening really, he's coming back, he's getting his company back, which I think is insane. I really thought he was done. Of course, I'm again, I love Vince McMahon's character. Him and Austin were amazing back in the day. They're dynamic. Austin would kick the fucking shit out of him and be like, Stone Cold says, I'm whoop your ass, you stop mud holing your ass and all that. That shit was great. Him flicking off his boss and stunning him was great. But Vince, I don't think he should be there anymore. I don't think he's connected. I don't think he knows the business like he used to. I think it's changed. I think that Triple H has been doing a good job, actually, trying to bring up some new people and actually bringing back the entertainment and being more connected, bringing up these young guys from NXT and actually making a better product. And the fact is, Vince's name is tarnished. Sabrina, do you really think that his tarnished name can help sell this company? Do you think he's still the man that can help facilitate a sale that needs to be attached to it? Or do you think that Triple H and Stephanie could actually do this on their own? Do you think he's actually hurting the sale of the company?
I mean, it's his company. He's the largest shareholder, regardless of who's running it. He's still the largest shareholder. It's still his company. And I'm surprised he even stepped down at all because of this. He's such an arrogant, narcissistic prick. I can't imagine that he even stepped down for the few months that he did. It was July or something.
Yeah, it was June.
It's been barely any time at all, and he's already
5
has
months,
to get back.
not even half a year. Almost half a year, not even half a year.
I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised that he even did it at all. Someone must have told him he had to, in order to save face, and he's just been chomping at the bit to get back. But regardless of whether he's on the board, not on the board, making creative decisions, not making creative decisions, he's the largest shareholder in the company. It's his company. It's his choice to do whatever the fuck he wants. And I'm sure he's been pulling the puppet strings behind the scenes the whole time. I just think he cannot handle not being in the limelight. That's it.
But how does he do it though? With all these kind of cases coming against him, this bad press,
it doesn't matter.
Think that he wouldn't just step aside and just be like, I can't do this?
Absolutely not. No, it's his daughter. His daughter is running it. He's just could call her up on the phone, be like, don't put this match on, put this match on. Don't do this, do that. Market this way. I mean, there's no way, shape, or plus Stephanie. I mean, honestly, you think she's running that company? Please.
I think Triple H is more than her because I think Triple H knows the business in and out.
He's running the company. Vince McMahon is running the company. It's his company. He's not going to let anyone else run it. And he can't handle the fact that he's not in the spotlight anymore, so he had to come back. I don't think it has anything to do with the sale or anything else.
I'm going to say Triple H has been running a little bit more, though, because he's been hiring a lot of people back that Vince McMahon fired. I mean, Vince McMahon fired a bunch of people, and Triple H has been rehiring people left and right. And that also
who's to say that's not to make you think that Triple H is running the company? Who's to say that?
It could be Sasha Banks, another one. She was like, Vince apparently, they had a female Sasha Banks left because she was like, I'm not getting paid the same amount as this woman is. And Vince said, you're fired, and it wasn't on TV, but you know what I mean? And so she stepped away from the company for a long time. And as soon as Triple H got in charge, she came back. I don't know. I feel like this could be a combination
Everything about wrestling is contrived. Every single move, every single word, every single stunt, it is all contrived. So for you to sit there and think, no, very small amount, very contrived,
wrestling's
very
not fake.
It's super fake. JR just said it's all Vince. Thank you, buddy. So it is there, he stepped down, and Triple H came in. They're trying to make you think that he's not running the company behind the scenes. They're doing he's hiring this person, doing that person. Sasha Banks was very popular too. It could have been like that, popular. People were pissed off that she wasn't there. So then what a perfect time to bring her back. I mean, I'm just saying, it is all contrived. It's all Vince, as GR said. And what did you just say, Matt? Banks didn't come back. She's in New Japan and probably AEW. I don't know enough about wrestling.
I heard she's coming back. If she's not back yet, I heard she signed a contract and she's coming back very shortly because of Triple H. So that's been an ongoing thing. So if she hasn't come back yet, spoiler alert, she's coming back. And you know what? You heard it here first. You heard it here first. That's all I'm saying. You heard it here first. I will say this too, though, about this. I will say this though. This man right here, Vince McMahon, I think, honestly, that he cannot handle other people being in charge because Stephanie and Triple H almost stepped away. There was a whole thing going on behind the scenes that said they were going to step away because of this whole
drama.
Because of this whole thing. And then Vince stepped down. I heard it was a power play. Of course, it could be drama, but I heard it was a power play by Triple H and Stephanie, who are a power duo who've been pretty much running the company more and more behind the scenes.
What do you
And I think
Good
they
Morning
made a power
America,
play,
a power duo?
and Vince said, "Okay, I'll step down for now." And they're welcome.
Bullshit.
But again, they made a statement. They made a statement saying that they're welcoming him back just for the transition of power, selling the company. Which again, why would they sell the company? Don't you know that Triple H and Stephanie be mad to sell the company? It's like their company now. I mean, they're running it. Why would they want to sell
all
it?
this shit is bullshit. So you need to stop working yourself up. Calm down. It's
I'm just
all
saying.
crap.
I heard this and I had to talk about it because again, I
It's
grew
all
up
theater,
watching
GR
this.
says.
I love wrestling. It's not been the same for so long since the Attitude Era. Of course it hasn't. I watched for a while after John Cena kicked some ass for a while, got repetitive. Triple H kicked some ass for a while, got repetitive. I just wish it would go back to being better, but of course you don't have the same talent you had before. Just like in the entertainment industry, in the film industry, the actors aren't the same. That's why they're not movie stars anymore like they used to be. There's no big movie stars. There's just TikTok celebrities and Instagram celebrities. And you all get cast based off how many people are following you on Instagram, which is bullshit. I'm just saying, not the same, just like that. And can you mute? What's going on, Sabrina, in your background? Yeah, tell your dogs to be quiet. Those are my dogs too, by the way. Anyways, on that note, we have to go. Thank you for being here. She's letting you
know that you're over 1 minute and 11 seconds if you want to be a jerk.
We have to go.
Yes, that's right, Mimi. We're done.
I think that it hasn't been the same. Vince is back. I don't know if it's a good thing. We're going to follow up on this as it continues. I'm actually kind of shocked. I'm not shocked that he didn't want the power back, but I think this is a bad move for the company in general because I don't think it works well. If they're actually trying to sell the company, if they're actually trying to work with new people, I don't think it's a good move because you're going backwards and not forwards. And Vince did a lot. Again, he did a lot. He had the grapefruits to make the company what it is today. But it's a new day. It's a new time. And it's time for a new WWE. Bring the F back. That's what I say. Anyways, thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us here on Kruse Control. Thank you for commenting. Please tell your friends, share. Watch us on YouTube, on Facebook. We are now live on your favorite podcast channels. We're on Audible. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on iHeartRadio. We're on TuneIn. Find us. Tell your friends. Listen to your way to the work or watch live or watch after the fact on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Sabrina, for joining me tonight. I hope you have a great night. Hope you have a great rest of your Monday. We'll see you again tomorrow on Kruse Control. Thank you for being here. See you soon. Have a great night. Take care. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Bye.